This is one of my favorite Cinewhoops that I own, but you know what I hate about it? In order to connect this thing to the computer or to do any tuning, I have to remove this top plate and then I gotta remove the ducts to plug the cable in. You probably can't even see the USB-C port on here. But with this little Flywoo Bluetooth module, you don't even have to plug a cable into the drone to do Betaflight tuning. It puts it all right on your phone using the SpeedyBee app and Bluetooth. This is the Flywoo bts-nano V3, and this little board adds Bluetooth functionality to pretty much any FPV drone you have, and it makes tuning a drone in the field 10 times easier. Once this is attached to a spare UART on your flight controller, you'll be able to connect to and tune your drone out in the field using the SpeedyBee app. The SpeedyBee app is a free app that is basically Betaflight on your phone. To connect this to your drone, you pretty much just need a spare UART, a 3.3 volt or 5 volt source, and a ground on your flight controller. So with the Bluetooth board, you also get some heat shrink, a set of wires, and a sticker. Now, instead of using the wires that they include with the Bluetooth board, I'm gonna actually use this 4-pin plug right here. I have a male and a female end, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this one to the board, and then this one is going to attach to the flight controller. So now what I can do is I can take additional plugs that are identical to this one, and I can solder it to pretty much any FPV drone that I have that has a spare UART, and I'll be able to unplug the Bluetooth module, put it on any FPV drone that I have, and I'll have Bluetooth on that board. So let me show you how to connect this thing to a flight controller. All right, so here's my Shendrone Squirt. Right on here we have a Diatone Mamba F722 Mini MK2 stack, and the pins that I'm going to be using for the Bluetooth module are right up top here. We have RX, TX, and then camera I'm not going to use, and then ground and 5 volt. So I'm going to use these 4 pads right here. So I'm going to put a little bit of flux on there just to make it a little easier to solder to. It'll probably be easier actually if I'm going to remove the camera and just get that out of the way. So when you're wiring this up, just keep track of which wire is going to RX and TX because it's going to have to be reversed on the Bluetooth module. So now I'm going to solder up this wire, and I'm going to have the white wire go to RX on the flight controller, so it's going to go to TX on the Bluetooth module. So this is the RX pad right over here in the corner, and then we have TX right next to it. So that's going to go to RX on the Bluetooth module. And then we have ground is the next one. And then we have 5 volt right next to that. So now we'll get this soldered up to the board. Put a little bit of flux on here. So remember, I have white going to RX on the flight controller, so white is going to go to TX on the Bluetooth board. So that's going to go right there. The yellow wire is going to go right next to it. Next we have ground, and then power. And there we go. Neaten this up by just kind of twisting these, and I am going to put some heat shrink around it just to protect it. Alright, so the Bluetooth module is ready to go. This is ready to go. Before we plug this in and try and connect it, we have to plug the flight controller into the computer, and we're going to turn on MSP for whatever UART we connected this to. All right, so plug your drone into Betaflight. You're not going to need the Bluetooth module connected for this. This is basically just a setup under the ports tab, MSP on UART 4. Hit save, reboot. That's all you got to do. All right, so I got the flight controller all set up in Betaflight. We have MSP on UART 4, and you're going to want to configure that on whatever UART you set this up on. I'm using UART 4, so I'm going to plug this in. I'm going to plug a battery in, and you should see a red LED blinking on the Bluetooth module. And now we're going to go over to the SpeedyBee app. You don't have to go under Bluetooth settings at all. hit the Bluetooth button on SpeedyBee, and flight controllers that have Bluetooth built in for the SpeedyBee app will pop up on this screen, but this one won't. You're gonna have to click search other devices, and you should see one that says Flywoo BT-nano right here, Flywoo BT-nano V3. Click that and it's automatically going to connect to the flight controller, and you're going to basically see a screen that looks just like Betaflight, and you have access to all of the Betaflight functions that you would normally have on a computer. So pick up your drone, make sure that it looks right on the screen, does exactly what Betaflight does. So now all of the menus are right over on the side here. So you have, you know, presets, even you have all these presets you can use. You have modes, so if you needed to adjust modes with your controller, when your controller is connected to it, you can flick switches and, you know, adjust those. Normally I spend the most time in the PID tuning section. So this is where you can configure all the PID settings and all the tuning for this. And that's really where something like this comes in handy, because with a USB on the side right here like this, it's difficult to connect a USB port to it. So just being able to connect to the phone, I'm not going to have to worry about connecting to a computer and tuning out in the field and removing the prop guards and everything for this drone. I can just open up the app, connect to the Bluetooth module, and tune my drone. Another cool thing that you can do is you can actually rearrange your OSD elements right through here. You can just click and drag wherever you want it and hit save. And that's that. So yeah, all of the Betaflight functions that you would normally get on a computer, you have right here in a nice app. And the best part is, once this drone is all tuned, I can literally just unplug this, put it on my other squirt once I get another one of these hooked up, and I can tune this one the same way. So there you go, that's how you can add Bluetooth to pretty much any FPV drone that has a spare UART on it. This is gonna mainly be something that I keep on my Cinewhoops due to the difficult USB access on most of them, but it's a very useful feature to have, especially when you're tuning out on the field. One thing that I want to mention, I had trouble connecting this to my iPhone, but when I used this on my Android, it connected almost immediately. If you do have trouble connecting this to your phone, I would play with the baud rate in the ports tab on Betaflight and just try selecting something a little bit lower than 115/600, and one of those lower baud rates should work. Like I said, there are some flight controllers that actually have Bluetooth built right in that connects to the SpeedyBee app. I have a couple of them, and I actually just published a review on the new SpeedyBee Flex 25 that has Bluetooth built into the flight controller, and it's a pretty damn cool drone. I'll leave a link to the review video I made on that down in the description. So if you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, and if you have any questions about this Bluetooth module, leave a comment down below.